The Los Angeles Rams got absolutely smacked by the Denver Broncos in their final preseason game. There's not a lot to be happy about, but we are going to be giving our instant reaction to this game. Let's get into it. So here we are with the stats first. I just want to go over this. In the first quarter, the Broncos scored 17 points. Second quarter, 10 points. Third quarter, did well. We only held them to 0 points. Still, we scored 0 all game, so that doesn't really matter. Fourth quarter, 14 points with the score of 41-0. This looks like a college football game. It is not good. Something to note before we continue with this video is that the Rams are playing absolute, their third, fourth stringers. And Sean McVay, interestingly enough, did say at the beginning, hey, we're going to be playing this a little bit differently than we normally do. We're going to try to play people a bit more. But in reality, we really did not play anyone in this game. I mean, you can see here, the only people with catches are like Austin Trammell, Braxton Burmeister. Lance McCutcheon did have 1 catch on 3 targets. But in general, Demarcus Robinson also really not making his case, getting 4 targets and not catching a single one of them. But seriously, we're not playing anyone of note here. This is not going to be the team that we are trotting out on week 1. So not to have too much concern, but there is some concern to be had with people such as Stetson Bennett. Had a very good first game, had a shaky first drive in that first game, but then a very good first game, and we are all very happy with him. Past 2 games, absolutely terrible. Today, yesterday, absolutely terrible. With a rating of 12, he got sacked and he had 2 interceptions, an average of 1.6 yards per throw with only 14 yards on 9 throws. It's not good for someone who's going to be our backup behind Matthew Stafford this year. That's just not something we like to see in a preseason game. Now, he doesn't have the exact starting lineup. He doesn't have the same receivers. It's not all perfect. However, it's just not good to see, especially in preseason when the other team is also playing their worst players. So not good. Something that is good, Ronnie Rivers, he's definitely going to make this team. With 6 carries of 32 yards, that's an average of 5.3 yards per carry, along with 9. Zach Evans also 23 yards, not as good of an average. But, Royce Freeman definitely getting cut. Sadly, I think he's a pretty good vet, but Ronnie Rivers and Zach Evans looking like the 2 that are going to make the team, behind Cam Akers and such. So in terms of receiving, Austin Trammell, very good game. He's not going to make the team. Lance McCutcheon needed to do more than have a 7 yards receiving to make that team, so he's not going to make the team either. Would have liked to see Davis Allen follow up his performance with another good performance. He might not make the team at this point. And then, just like I said before, Demarcus Robinson having 4 targets, 0 catches, not what I would like to see. One good note, we didn't have any fumbles. Defensively, also not a whole lot to be proud of. Now, Quindell Johnson did play very well. Definitely could have made a case to make the 53-man roster. He had a sack, a pass deflection, and 8 total tackles, so that was pretty solid. We had a few tackles for losses from some interesting names. Trey Tomlinson was playing well until he got ejected from the game for that face mask penalty. Pretty badass if you ask me, but that is neither here nor there. Nothing else too much of note. Marquise Copeland with the sack, which I did like to see, and Laurel Murchison had a tackle for loss pretty early in the game as well. But other than that, Tanner Brown missed a field goal. Ethan Evans was out there punting. He's probably him and Quindell Johnson are the lone people I'm happy to see, and then Ronnie Rivers doing even somewhat well, but that's basically what I saw. Now we can go into what the Rams wire saw in this instant analysis of the 3rd preseason loss. So it was all started by Stetson Bennett and finished by Dresser Wynn, with Brett Rypien getting a handful of opportunities in the middle. But no matter who is leading the offense, the Rams struggled to move the ball. Here's a recap. So let's go over the recap. Several players got the night off, including Ben Skoranek, Puka Nacua, which was to be expected since he already missed the second game, Jonah Williams, Russ Yeast, and others. This is a clear sign that they're making the 53-man roster. This is pretty I figured this was going to happen. I didn't know about Ben Skoranek because he's kind of just a player that's always out there. But I knew he was going to make the team. Pretty much everyone knows that Ben Skoranek is going to make the team, especially with everything he's done in that Super Bowl. And then just last year when he had to pick up the slack, he did pretty well. So this game was ugly from start to finish. Denver, despite not playing most of its starters, marched down the field with ease, going up 7-0. The Rams were sloppy on both sides of the ball, with Stetson Bennett throwing two unsightly interceptions and the defense struggling to get anything on the ground. The defense was once again gashed on the ground, allowing more than 140 yards rushing to Denver. That's partly because of poor tackling, but gap discipline and edge contain was bad too. The defense was just terrible. I mean, especially rushing with what the Chargers did to us and now what Denver did to us. It's just not good. Tanner Brown missed another field goal attempt in his second and 4 tries in this preseason. This one was a 39-yarder, but he pulled left to the upright. He's gotten very little work this preseason. Who knows what is going to be happening at kicker. I just hope Tanner Brown could pull it together. Ethan Evans was busy punting 5 times for 281 yards, with 3 of those punts being down inside the 20-yard line. He averaged 52 yards per punt and showed good hang time. I am very happy with our punting situation. This is the best I've felt since Johnny Hekker was just in his prime, which was honestly probably a couple years ago. But penalties were a big problem for Los Angeles, including a face mask by Trey Tomlinson that was so egregious that he was ejected. I thought it was funny. I wish I could have seen Trey Tomlinson play more, but honestly, I think he's already locked up a starting spot personally from my perspective. 3 stars of the game. Austin Trammell with 5 catches for 55 yards. Deshaun I don't know how to say his name. But either way, 3 tackles, 2 QB hits, and Ronnie Rivers, like I said, 6 carries for 32 yards. Would have liked to see him even get more than that. This game put a bow on the preseason for the Rams, which means week 1 of the regular season is up next. Before we get to that point, there's some important business to take care of. Final roster cuts. The Rams will need to trim the roster down to 53 players, which means more than 35 guys are going to be cut by Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be no games next weekend, but after that, the real season begins. It's so close that we can almost taste it. So yeah, that's pretty much where we're at this point. And the preseason was not very pretty for the Rams, and it never is. So we just have to hope that when we come out, Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, our stars are making plays, that our rookies step up, and that this is just a little bump in the road before we, maybe start out the season hot. Maybe we beat the Seahawks on the road in our first game. Maybe we start out super well and we even beat the 49ers in the next game after that. Maybe we go 1-1 and then the team is just off and, roaring. Maybe Cooper Kupp is off to his next Triple Crown, season. Well, we will never know until we actually see the full team play together. So those are kind of my thoughts on how the game went, my instant reaction analysis. Let me know what you guys think about how the game went. Clearly, it was 41-0. None of us are going to be happy about that, but I think that there are some bright spots that we can be looking forward to, not necessarily from this game, but just from the talent that we have. I mean, Puka Nacua is going to be interesting going into this season and the storylines there, and Trey Tomlinson, possibly being a starter or definitely getting a lot of playing time. There's just a lot of younger players that I'm excited to watch. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Please leave a like and subscribe. See ya.